I have been every voice.
You are the chosen one!
This is where the fun begins.
Inside your head.
Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we're going to be looking at a brand new exciting report for The Mandalorian Season 3. We're also going to be doing some speculation and more. As always guys, before I dive into the news, please may I ask you to hit that big red subscribe button if you have not done so already. And also please make sure you give that bell a good old tickle to be alerted each and every time that I post new content to the channel. You can expect daily Star Wars updates from me. So my dear Megalorians, without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So before we get into the main bulk of the news, let's talk about Anthony Daniels, because he's celebrating 45 years since the first time he put on a C3PO outfit. Let me clarify, this is not 45 years since A New Hope, it's 45 years since the first time he portrayed C3PO. What's very interesting is that he's stated numerous times he's not done playing C3PO. Recently on a French radio program, he stated that he's currently voicing C3PO for an upcoming project. On a slightly separate note, last November Anthony Daniels stated that he does want to be in The Mandalorian, so knowing that he's not done with C3PO just yet, we could see a cameo from him in the very near future, and that is a very exciting prospect. So now guys, let's dive into the main bulk of today's news. The Mandalorian Season 3 will reportedly be more fast-paced and like nothing we've seen before. So let me read it to you. The impact of The Mandalorian Season 2 on the Star Wars fandom was enormous. It reinvigorated and united the fans, and thanks to Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni and Peyton Reed, we got to see Luke Skywalker at his peak, even just briefly. With both the Book of Boba Fett and the Bad Batch dropping this year, we have a lot to look forward to, but it certainly feels like an eternity to have to wait for The Mandalorian Season 3, which should be released next spring. Still, a lot of events recently have soured the excitement for many fans, notably decisions that called into question Lucasfilm's attitude to censorship. Regardless, by the time the hype for The Mandalorian Season 3 is in full swing, there is no doubt that fans will be as enthusiastic as they were prior to Season 2, which saw Bo-Katan and Ahsoka making their way into live action. A new report from an insider at Lucasfilm, who also has a brother working as an extra, states that the pace of Season 3 will be much faster than what we're used to, and like nothing we've ever seen before. When Favreau wrapped up Season 2, he stated that he wanted to up his game for the subsequent season and wow audiences like never before. In recent months, there's been a lot of speculation about what Season 3 is going to be about. It's believed by many fans that the Jedi subplot that has been the driving force until now is finally over, and that Season 3 will primarily be dealing with the Darksaber arc and returning to the titular character's Mandalorian experience in the galaxy far, far away. A more fast-paced season could see a significant increase in action sequences, combat, and of course encounters with new characters. In many ways, Season 3 needs to achieve something very few shows can, upping the ante while also making a show that still feels like the one we've all seen. While no casting news is available yet, there is no doubt we will see even more fan favourites make their way to Mando. Han Solo, Sabine Wren, Chewbacca and Leia Organa have all been rumoured to potentially make cameos, but everything is hearsay until it's confirmed by Lucasfilm. As countless fans put it, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are the new hope and saviours of the Star Wars brand, and if we're honest, Season 3 is going to be the most anticipated series of 2022 when it drops. Personally, I believe this rumour makes a lot of sense. The Season 2 finale hinted at a lot of action coming up and a lot of conflict between Bo-Katan and Mando. But what do you guys think of this rumour? Are you excited for Season 3? And what do you think the main plot of the show is going to be going forward? So my friends, that's not the only Mandalorian Season 3 article we're going to be looking at, because this is from Inverse and they're talking about a super weapon that could be introduced in Season 3. So let's dive on in. Over the course of 2 seasons, Djarin has encountered all sorts of conflicts in Mando. From crate dragons to bounty hunters, Mando is a jack of all trades, as he helps people out on his intergalactic journey. However, most of the threats he's faced have been relatively low stakes. It wasn't until the Season 2 finale that the threat reached the sort of level we see in Star Wars. The Mandalorian Season 3 will have to keep up this consistency, but that could be very challenging if the story introduces a weapon seen frequently in non-canon Star Wars stories, and we're talking about Biowarfare. It's an incredibly underused threat in Star Wars. Within canon, it's only really been used once, during the Blue Shadow virus arc of the Clone Wars. However, once you peek behind the curtains of Star Wars legends, there are all sorts of examples of this. The infamous Yuuzhan Vong used a number of spores to infect their enemies, including Mara Jade. In retaliation, a rogue section of the New Republic used a bioweapon known as Alpha Red onto the planet of Kalula. This caused the Yuuzhan Vong to die a painful death, but it destroyed the ecosystem along with it. That unsanctioned weapon caused a huge rift within the New Republic, with figures like Wedge Antilles arguing biowarfare makes them no better than the genocidal Yuuzhan Vong. The reason that we don't really see them much in canon is because they're so gripping to watch. Massive destruction on such a level could be too much to establish within a single TV episode, and Star Wars movies have always been more character-based, but maybe it's time for the space opera franchise to dive into science fiction a little bit more. Arguably, the best choice for a bioweapon for The Mandalorian Season 3 would probably be Nano Destroyers, a threat mentioned in the Champions of the Force. It's very similar to poison, but when it infects the body, it breaks down the body cell by cell. The events of Champions of the Force occurred at the same point in the timeline as Mando. Besides Nano Destroyers, there are all sorts of options for other bioweapons. The Alpha Red weapon was enhanced over a century later during the Sith Imperial War. The classic novel Dark Force Rising introduced the Hive virus, a super contagious disease that would wipe out whole world populations at a time. A stakes-raising bioweapon is exactly what the Mandalorian needs in its upcoming season, a weapon that Mando can't face alone. That could very easily lead him to ask for help from newly introduced Luke Skywalker and reunite him with his child. So the reason I brought this article up was because while it's far-fetched, it could be a good idea to introduce elements of legends like this one into The Mandalorian, and it would truly set the show apart to the Skywalker saga. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments down below. It really stretches the mind to think outside of the box for obvious storylines for Season 3, and that's why I like it in a sense. So finally, my dear friends, we're going to be talking about Tatooine, and the reason being is because we know the Book of Boba Fett and the Obi-Wan Kenobi series are both set there. So this is a really cool theory, which is that Tatooine is connected directly to the Force. Tatooine is about as desolate a planet as it gets. According to the canonical book Ultimate Star Wars, it was covered in lush greenery at one point in the past, but an unknown cataclysm reduced it to the desert wastelands that we know and love. Calling it sparsely populated is a huge understatement, as there are only about 200,000 life forms on the planet, which is very small for Star Wars, by the way. There's nothing particularly interesting about Tatooine. It's an outer rim dust ball orbiting 2 stars, which has been stripped of most of its major resources by mining companies who have long since abandoned the world. Now, Tatooine appears a lot in Star Wars Legends and in canon, but that begs the question of why this planet keeps coming back in Star Wars. Why is it so focal in all of these spin-off series? The answer could be related to the Force nexuses that appear on other planets. Throughout the Jedi mythology, there are different planets in the galaxy that are home to key waypoints, where lines of Force energy converge and form a nexus. The Jedi Temple on Lothal was established as one of them, but could Tatooine be another one? What happened on Lothal may have also happened on Tatooine. A Jedi temple might have been established on the Force Nexus but was forgotten over time. Given the lack of sentient life on the planet, it would be really easy to lose a temple there. A Nexus might be discovered in one of the upcoming series. A Force Nexus on the planet could explain why a backwater criminal stronghold with very little to offer the galaxy keeps getting drawn into prominence. There is more to Tatooine than meets the eye, and maybe we'll find out why very soon. Personally, I've always loved Tatooine. It's one of the most iconic planets in Star Wars, if not the most iconic one, with the binary sunset. But what do you guys make of this and everything else I've covered today? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I really hope you enjoyed this news update, and if you did, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, do all that good stuff down below, and I will see you next time. I'm Star Wars Meg, wishing you all a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a good one.